Good morning. It's August the 18th, believe it or not, and this is your daily devotion. Thank you for tuning in on the internet or wherever you're seeing this on video. I've thought a lot recently about really the wonder, almost the miracle of our being able to communicate in the midst of this pandemic. In the midst of this pandemic, easy for me to say, without having to be physically in one another's presence. Our words can be spoken or typed and go literally to the ends of the earth in seconds. And that is a blessing, but it can also be a curse, because sometimes what we're sending are not blessings but curses. I'm going to read from James chapter 3, beginning in verse 3, and I think we can apply the words that he uses to describe the exploits of our tongues, of our mouths, of our words, to apply also to the exploits of what goes out on our video streams or our texting and the ways that we send words out with our fingers. James 3:3. If we put bits into the mouths of horses to make them obey us, we guide their whole bodies. Or look to ships, though they are so large that it takes strong winds to drive them, yet they are guided by a very small rudder wherever the will of the pilot directs. So also is the tongue a small member, yet it boasts of great exploits. How great a forest is set ablaze by a small fire, and the tongue is a fire. The tongue is placed among our members as a world of iniquity. It stains the whole body, sets on fire the cycle of nature, and is itself set on fire by hell. For every species of beast and bird and reptile and sea creature can be tamed and has been tamed by the human species, but no one can tame the tongue, a restless evil full of deadly poison. With it we bless the Lord and Father, and with it we curse those who are made in the likeness of God. From the same mouth come blessing and cursing. My brothers and sisters, this ought not to be so. And then Jesus adds more insight when he explains that what comes out of the mouth, not what goes into the mouth, but what comes out of the mouth proceeds from the heart. And this is what defiles. Now, certainly at the time this was written, it could not possibly be imagined the way that we are able to communicate now. And the communication that we can do is out there, it's written or it's recorded, and it's there to provoke discussion or to provoke division, maybe forever, for a long, long time. Sometimes the comments that we make in relation to what someone has said become a ground to see who's on my side and who's on yours. How many do I get? How many do you get? Who's the smartest? Who's the wisest? Who's right? Who's wrong? And people that if we were speaking to in person, we would take heed to some of this scripture. It's so easy to forget when we're online. Don't get me wrong. We have to be in communication. Now, in this time when it's so scary to be in communication more than ever, we have a lot of things to talk about. And there are a lot of opinions on lots of sides. And we've got to come together and discuss. Reason together, as it also says in the Bible. But if you look in Proverbs, there are many places where it suggests that we should be careful how we speak, what we say, and I think that applies to what we type, what we text. We can't stop communicating, but it might behoove us to slow down our rapid fire, defense filled often words. There's a quote that's attributed to Mark Twain. It's also attributed to to Abraham Lincoln, and to Samuel Johnson. So we're not really sure who said it first, but it's also similar to some of those Proverbs quotes, and it is this: "It is better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt." At the beginning of his book, James actually starts out saying in verse 19, chapter 1, "You must understand this, my beloved. Let everyone be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger." And then, when it's time to speak, we have the opportunity to ask God for wisdom. I would encourage you to read the first 3 chapters of James. A lot of good, hard wisdom in there. And one of the things, part of the wisdom is, God will give us wisdom if we ask for it. Ask for it. God will give you wisdom. The wisdom from above that God gives is this. James 3:17. "But the wisdom from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, willing to yield, full of mercy and good fruits, without a trace of partiality or hypocrisy." If our words, whether spoken or written or typed, flow from that sort of wisdom, then we can perhaps fulfill this last verse in this section. "A harvest of righteousness, then, is sown in peace for those who make peace." In this time of decision making, of important discussions, of lots of words, of lots of movement of our words and our ability to speak, let us consider these things. Let us ask for wisdom. Let us seek to be peaceable, gentle, willing to yield, without a trace of partiality or hypocrisy. God will help us. God will have to help us. God will have to help me with that. But the good news is God is eager to help. Lord, let it be. Have a great day.